Hello, Stampin' friends. This is Lisa with Live and Let's Stamp. Today I'm going to be showing how to make the cards in the Welcoming Garden Kit. And you can see just how beautiful these cards are. I have not really set anything up in previewing this, so you'll kind of be seeing how I tackle it to make these cards using the instructions, okay? You can see that all the instructions are inside. I'm not sure how many cards I'll get made today in our time, but let's get into the box. So this kit comes with everything you need to make your cards. This is an insert so that you can, this is the English one, put these in a little case or something and then know that these are the stamps that you have. A gate, and then this like a wood grain pattern. Thanks, just a note and thinking of you today. So very nice sentiments that can be used for a lot of different purposes. We also get, this is adhesive, and I'll show how to use this adhesive. It's a very strong adhesive. This kind of tape adhesive is really good to use. We also have our Stampin' block that you're going to use with your stamps. So this is where these will go. You have some foam dots, also for adhering. We have just some plain white cardstock. Gorgeous envelopes. They're all the same. They're so very pretty. I love them, and I love the colors in this kit. They're so nice and bright and ready for spring. Your Stampin' spot is crumb cake. So this is a light brown. And then we have our card bases. So this one, wow, look at that. So very pretty. Welcoming garden is, that's just such a nice thought. If you visit a garden or if you have your own garden, it's just, it's just so peaceful to walk through a garden. Reduces stress. I've read that before. And then these are some more card bases with this pretty green. Looks like maybe Shy Shamrock or no, probably Summer Splash. That's probably what that is. Here are the pieces that we're going to stamp our sentiments on. And these are some elements that we're going to punch out to use for gates. And here are pretty flowers that we're going to punch out. And here's a gate piece. And we have some pre-printed sentiments here. Hello, bonjour, and hello. And those are all the pieces in our kit. So let's take a look at our first project. So for this one, we're going to need our stamping spot, and that means we're going to need our stamps and our block. We're going to need the card base with the gate on it. So let me grab one of those. That's this one. Right here. We're also going to need, see right here, these hexagons. The hexagons match these because these dots are hexagons. So we're going to need that. And then we have this little birdhouse. So that's on this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and punch out that birdhouse. And then we have some of these pink flowers. Double one and two singles. So that's on this. So I'm going to go ahead and punch out the double one and the two pieces. These punch out really easily. I have never torn one in all of these kits that I've made. Never have I torn one. Okay, so I don't need those two just yet. Just need these two. And I think that's, oh, and we're going to need this this wood texture from the stamps. Oh, that's a cool feature. All right, well, let's get started with our Stampin' spot. And you do need to open these when you get them. They're sealed. And I'm keeping it real today. So like any mistakes or difficulties, you will see it in real time. And then once you get one side, you can peel off the other side. And then I like to just cut a little bit of it off because you don't need all of that. You really don't need any of it because it'll stay closed on its own. So I'm just going to cut those off. All right, so that's our crumb cake Stampin' Spot. Now, what you're going to want to have, in addition to the kit, is just a piece of scrap paper. To practice your stamping. You don't want to immediately go to stamping your pieces because you need to check the stamp to make sure it's making a nice imprint, that your ink isn't too juicy. Sometimes you have to deal with that as well. So those are my two stamps. I think I'm gonna start with the, now does this fit this way? Yes, it does. So I usually lay it down, kind of drop it so you don't have it crooked. If you kind of drop it, it'll stay straight. That does just fit on there. So a couple ways you can do your Stampin' Spot. You can just stamp direct, tap your stamp like that, and then do your imprint, or you can apply the ink directly like this. Let me do that one more time. Now, I don't know if you can see, but the ink kind of bubbles up on the stamp. Sometimes these photopolymer stamps have a, like just from production, a little bit of a like coating on them that if you get it off, it'll make a better stamp. So if that happens, I'm getting out my Stampin' Chamois. This is one of the tools, and I apologize for the mess. You know, I've used this for months. It doesn't wear out. The ink stains it. It's wet. You get it wet. You squeeze it out, and then you clean your stamp on it. Now, you don't have to have one of these. It's just really nice. This is an IKEA lid that I just leave it in here. I let mine dry out, and then I just pour water in the lid and it soaks back in every day when I use it. Some people keep them in stamp cases or in plastic bags so it stays a little damp. But this is what works for me. So the act of just rubbing it here might take off some of that, might take off that coating. You can rub your finger on it. Will sometimes make it give a better stamp. If you're wearing jeans like I am, you can rub it against your jeans because jeans are kind of rough. And if you have some light sandpaper, oh, I got some blue on there for my jeans. Some light sandpaper, I don't know how you would describe, I forget how you describe it. Not something that would really scratch. This is a sand eraser, but you could just use a light piece of sandpaper and just do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean it again, because it might have picked something up from all I just did to it. You don't have to do all of these things, but now I want to make sure it's dry, and I just use my hand to dry it off like that. And I'm going to go back and see the image. You can see, let me see if I can get this closer, how it was kind of uneven, and now it's giving a much better stamp, much clearer stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and get my fence post. The directions show that on all of these inner posts, I'm going to put that, the fence, the wood grain. So I'm just going to stamp and apply. This is why photopolymer stamps are so nice, because you know you can see through them. You don't need a stamp positioner. to help you put it in the right place. It's clear, so you know it's going in the right place. And you don't want to, you know, really hit the ink pad hard. Just want to give some gentle taps. You can see how awesome that looks versus just the plain one. You can just see it's just adding something to it. Okay, so that looks great. The thanks is going on this shape. So I'm going to get my shape pieces. And let's see. It's this one. See, it matches there. And that's where the thanks is going to go. I'm going to do the same thing with the practice. Okay. So here's my thanks. I'm going to just drop it there, pick it up with my acrylic, and I'm going to get my practice sheet and see how that stamp looks. See, it's bubbly. So I want to rub it off there. I'm going to go ahead and clean it. Rub it with my fingers. And then I'm going to do the sand eraser gently. Clean it again. And do a practice. How much better that looks. That's fantastic. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick look. Looks like it's going to be pretty easy to center it in there. You'll notice you get extras. They always give you extras just in case, but if you're practicing on another sheet, then you probably don't need the extras. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and punch that out now. I like to do the stamping while it's still in the paper, because this is a little, you know, it could move maybe when I breathe or whatever, but I like to keep it in there. So I'm done with my Stampin' Spot and with my stamp. So it shows step 2, I'm going to do some folding. So you can see the arrows. This one's going in there, and this one's going there. So it looks like, where's my, okay. So this folds in, and then I've got the birdhouse and the thanks. So right here, it shows on the back of the thanks to put 2 of the foam. So you're just going to kind of peel that back. 1 piece of foam, 2 pieces of foam. The birdhouse is going to get 1. And the flowers will each get 1 per flower. So we have the double and the 2 singles. Save that one. So this flower gets 1. Now you can see I'm doing this just with my fingers, but if you have some tweezers, they work great too. That was 1 per flower. Okay. So that's all of the adhesive. And I'm going to put this one here. Those two go on this double, and this one goes right there. So I'm just following the directions. Peel off the backing. And put those on. One of them's larger than the other. Okay. Just so nice. It gives your card some dimension. You can see there. Those like pop up. And we're going to put the birdhouse right atop. Okay, and then we're going to fold. Oh, you know what? Remember when I talked about mistakes? Here's my first mistake. I did the wood grain on the inside, and when I fold it, it's going to be with no wood. So I'm going to have to go back in and do that. Yep, I need to put the wood on that. So wasn't thinking of that. So I'm going to go back and do that really quick. Ah, the joys of live video. But it's good to see. Sometimes you make mistakes, and that's okay. Okay, let that fall. Okay, get my spot. If I was making a video, this is, well, A, the part I would cut out, and B, I would speed it up for you. I could even flip it over and it wouldn't be so repetitive, you know? All wood doesn't look the same. And maybe I'll do that on this one and then turn it around again so they don't all look quite the same. The nice thing is on the next two cards, because this does make 3 of the same card, you won't make that mistake again. So that's a good reason to just make one of the cards first rather than do an assembly line kind of process. So this goes there, and our thanks hangs right on the gate. Whoops. We're going to put that right there. And there's your card, ready to go in this beautiful matching envelope. And look, it looks like wood on the inside too. So maybe that's a great thing to do. That's what I'm going to tell myself anyway. Project 2. Thanks for hanging in there with me. All right, we're going to need just a note. That's on my stamp sheet. And we're going to need that fence post again. And this time I will definitely think about where I'm putting it. Okay. Looks like we're going to be using the blank white pieces to stamp that on. So I'm going to need one of those. And that stamp. And I'm going to need this greenery. I'm going to need this adhesive. That's what this is, these long strips. that's this. So I'll show you how to use that. And they do show that they want you to cut in half. Looks like one, maybe 3 of your little, because they need them to be tinier, to cut these in half. So it's nice to have a little pair of snips to do that. Gonna need this piece, and we're gonna be stamping on that. Here's this. So this is the greenery. Whoops, I have 2 sheets here. Just do 1 sheet at a time, and that's just gonna come right out perfectly. And I'm gonna need this gate that was on this page. And I'm gonna be using a lot of these orange flowers. Looks like 3 together. So that's this. Couple singles. Another 3 together in a triangle shape, and another one in a triangle shape. And 1, 2, 3. So all of the orange flowers from this particular piece we're gonna need. So let's go ahead and do our stamping on our white piece. My stamp is already conditioned, so I know we're good there. And the directions tell us to put one here, there, and there. Now I'm working with grid paper underneath to get any overlap, but I'm gonna try to keep that relatively nice. So I'm gonna just do this on top of a piece of copy paper. Okay, so looks like we want one right about there. We want another one right about here, and then one more near the bottom, about here. Okay. Now I'm gonna get this. Gonna go ahead and switch my stamp. Just gonna lay that down and then pick it up with my acrylic block. And I'm thinking I'm gonna need to condition it, but let's give it a shot. That's really not bad, but I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a mild conditioning. Rub it on my Simply Chamois and with my fingers. Kind of. Now let's see how it looks. I'm not sure it really needs to be sandpapered. I didn't get a good inking on that. Looks perfect. Okay, and this one is going in this. Yes. Just a note. Nice. Go ahead and punch that out. There we go. Done with the Stampin' spot and our stamps. Oh, very cool. Okay. All right. I'm a little confused with this because it's not that. Except I think it is going to be that. Yep. they're having you put the adhesive on. But I'm going to go ahead and jump to this because this looks intriguing. Because we're going to put the adhesive along the bottom. It's shown in gray. I'm sorry, it's on the flower piece. And then this is going to go on top, and we're going to kind of weave the plants through. That's pretty cool. Okay, so this is how you use tear and tape. You find the end. And it's kind of thick. It's really not difficult to find the end and get it started. And we're just going to apply it right here to there. And it's called tear and tape because it's very easy to tear. And you just want to kind of push it down to make sure all that adhesive that's on the backing gets pushed down. Let me get this out of the way. And then we're just going to peel off this top piece. And I don't know if you can see, but there is adhesive there now. And it's a very strong adhesive. So you kind of want to make sure you get this where you want it. Oh, actually, I think I'm going to do it this way. So you have both hands to work with. There we go. And just push that down. You can see you have a really good adherence there. So now we're weaving through. So we're going to kind of take this one and do that. This one all by itself already grabbed on. This one's going to come through just like it's a, you know, a plant that is winding. Isn't that pretty? Okay, and then it tells us to put adhesive foam dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So along the arch, along the bottom, and right in the middle. So let's get our foam and start applying those. So we want one here. And I'm just putting it right where the directions tell me to put it. And 3 along the bottom. Okay, now let's go ahead and get these done as well. I'm going to take my snips. I'm going to snip in here. Kind of snip this part off. By the way, you can use all of these pieces. You just have to cut it up yourself. You could even do it instead of cutting these in half. But I will go ahead and do what they say to do. I'm going to cut those in half. It wants us to cut them through the point, but I don't think it matters. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so that gives us 4 little pieces. Now let's see where we're putting these. So the triangle pieces, I'm just following this diagram right here. It shows full, full, and then a half. Okay, doing the same thing for this one. Full, a full, and a half. This one's going to have a half. This one is going to, whoa, flew away. It's really good sticky adhesive. And then we're going to do a hole. And then this particular one, we're going to do a hole. A hole. Whoops. They all want to be used. Take me, take me. Okay, and then it calls for a half, but I'm going to show you what I was talking about. You can cut the edge around the outside. It all has the sticky on it, and just use that. Oops. And that goes there. Okay, so we have all of that done. We need this pretty green card base. We're going to want to, now some people don't fold them until afterwards. I like getting them folded before. It helps me get it centered better. Now, you can do this with fingernail. I've done this with the end of my tweezers. I've done it with a knife. When I went to Disney World, I forgot my bone folder. I used a butter knife. But this is a bone folder. You can pick these up in craft stores or order from Stampin' Up. They are $8. And it just helps make a nice, you know, crisp, flat card. So on that, we are going to apply this piece this way, and the adhesive is 3 strips of the tear and tape, which I would happily apply if I could find it. Oh, it's right there in front of me. Ah! Okay, there's a piece at the top, a piece in the middle-ish, it's definitely not the middle, and a piece at the bottom. Make sure to get those rubbed down so that the top will peel off and reveal that adhesive. If one corner doesn't work, try another. But it's really not that bad. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to center this as best I can. If you're using a glass mat or grid paper, that can help. I'm just going to eyeball it. It's part of the charm of handmade things. And next we're going to apply the gate and greenery. It's going to go kind of just below and just above. So let's remove all the backing. From the foam adhesive. Kind of put this nice and straight and even. Okay, just going to press down where those foam dots are. Nice and secure. They're not going anywhere. And then finally, we're ready for our flowers. They show you exactly where to place the flowers. Of course, you can always do it any way you want. The Just a Note is going to go on last because it might overlap some of your flowers. So let me kind of put this here where you can see. So I see this kind of long, not the triangle shape, but the one that's kind of smiley face shaped. And they have that right at the top. Top right. So we'll put those right there. And let's see, these three down here. And these three go right under here on the side. They're gonna go right. Let's do them right here. And now I have just three flowers. Let's put one there. It's kind of not where they put theirs, but it's kind of where I like it. I'm just gonna lay this on. Just kind of take a look. Yeah, this one, let's put that one where it's going to be a little bit under the just a note. And our last one gives it, we see we've got a lot on this side, so we definitely need one over here. Okay, and then finally our just a note gets 3 of our foam dots, full sized. 1, 2, 3. And center it as best I can. Just a note. Look how pretty. Who wouldn't love to send that to someone just to say hi, or, you know, just a note to tell you I'm thinking about you or something like that? Who would not love to receive this in this gorgeous envelope in the mail or on their desk at work? Okay, last one. Thanks for sticking with me. All right, so this one is pretty cool. We get to use our fence piece. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the acrylic block. Just going to drop it. And then pick it up. I'm going to go ahead and just condition it because I know I've needed to condition the others a bit. And then I'm just going to, just kind of rub my fingers over it. Sometimes you get stamps and you don't need to do this at all. And even if you feel you don't need to, sometimes just doing this will give you a better stamp. All right. I just want to jump right into this. Oh, very cool. So we have this piece. You see it has like a fence there. And here, this is 2 pieces, but I guess it doesn't matter if you're stamping there. Huh. All right, let's give it a try. I am going to do a practice. Now for this one, I'm going to go ahead and apply the ink right to the stamp because it's so big. Not too hard. Let's see how it looks. Oh, that looks good. Excellent. Okay, let's make a fence with posts. I'm just kind of eyeballing, make sure it has enough ink, and then we're going to look how cute that is. I love it. I love it. You don't have to push hard. I once heard somebody say, I mean, you want to do your Stampin', your stamp pad on your stamp like a kiss that you would give your grandmother. Not a kiss like you'd give to, oh, in my case, Brad Pitt. One you'd give your grandmother. Nice light touch. All right, so we're gonna go put these right here. So cool. I love that. Nice. Okay. We're also going to need the Thinking of You today. And that's going to go in that long rectangle. Okay. So we're going to use all of our stamps. Sometimes you actually get stamps and you don't use them all in the kit. They're just extras in case you wanted to like build your own fence or something. In this case, we're using, I believe, all of the stamps, which is pretty cool. Yep, this is our last one. Thinking of you today. Okay, let's go ahead and condition it. Block is a little wet. Okay, get our practice piece. Looks good. Okay. That one's a little bit crooked. I think I'm going to try that again. Like I said, you always get extra pieces just in case. See if I can get this a bit straighter. Yeah, that's better. I definitely want this one. Okay. Gonna need this beautiful spray of flowers. And that's this one at the bottom of this page. And then we need these extra flowers. There's a yellow and a red violet. And we have some nice purple. Flowers. Okay. So there, they're showing us where to put our tear and tape. It shows our card base. This one's going to be landscape. Let me go ahead and fold my card. Use my bone folder to get a nice flat card. This one's landscape. And that is sized perfectly to go on there. Nice. Okay, and then our 3 purples, and this, and this. And we're going to need this hello, which was on one of, there it is. Now, you all know I'm a francophile. I could put bonjour. I'd love to put bonjour, but I will put hello. There's a couple there. Okay, so we're going to need that as well. So it says our first step is to apply this beautiful spray of flowers, and that's going to have adhesive at the bottom. And I'm looking at the rest of the card, and I don't see any more adhesive. So what's going to keep this down is this gate. That's interesting. Okay, so let's do that. And that goes right at the bottom, that green strip. So make sure your card is going to open the right way. I have done that too. Gotten a card all put together and it opens backwards. And in that case, you don't throw it away. You send it to someone who you know will laugh or relate, like, huh, I've done that. Okay, now we have two posts here, and we have our fence that we stamped. So I'm going to go ahead and punch that out. And that has one piece. And then this piece. Okay. There's a little piece there that comes out. There we go. And then our two fence posts. Not there. Oh, here they are. They're on the sheet that had the hello. So there's our posts. All right. All right, so now it's showing us that we're going to flip this over, this fence piece with the extension, and we're going to put tear and tape right there only. Two pieces. One there. One here. That one didn't tear quite where I wanted it to. Okay. There we go. So that has two pieces, and then the other part of the fence, which is right here, is also going to have two pieces. We're also going to be putting foam tape, foam dots, not tape, on our fence posts. 1, 2, 3 on each one. Basically the bottom, the middle, and that top piece. Middle and bottom. And on our flowers, each flower gets 1. Our sentiment gets 2. Each flower gets 1, and the hello gets 2. So let's go ahead and put those on. And our thinking of you today, and our hello piece, which I am not seeing at the moment. Isn't that crazy? I put up a funny meme last week that crafting is the art of trying to find what you just had 5 seconds ago. And it's so true. And I sit and say, I haven't gotten out of my seat. I haven't gotten up. How can it be lost? Oh, well, there it is. It was looking right at me. I do that a lot too. Hope I'm not the only one. I would love it if you would leave me a comment and say, I too can't find what I'm looking for half the time, and then it's right in front of my face. Makes you feel better when you're not alone. I don't know why these are coming off 2 at a time instead of 1. I think I'm trying to go too fast. Okay. Now this is a pretty cool card. when you see how it works. It's very nice. Okay, so we've done that. So it looks like we're going to put on the fence next. The fence pieces. That's this and this. So let's get our card back. And you see it's up a little bit on the green. And it's going to go here. And here. And they actually show the flower peeking out like that. So that can help you gauge exactly where it's supposed to go, which is right there. So I'm going to peel off. Now again, this is a very, very strong adhesive on the tear and tape. So when you put it down, it's probably not going to come up very easily. So you want to make sure you're getting it right where it needs to be before you press down. There. Okay, and then this one. See, it's only on the edge. And now we want it about the same height. Not about the same height, the same height as the other side. And that looks good. Now let's put on our posts. I like this little accent with the, like the pretty ball top for the fence post. Just gonna layer right on top. Again, giving that 3D. And you know what? That's a little crooked. And that's just too bad because once this foam tape goes down, it's also very strong. And you do more damage than you would want if you tried to change it. So this one I'm going to try to put on a little straighter. There. My fence is falling down. Okay, now you see, remember, this will now open. Isn't that cute? And that'll kind of keep it down. You know, I did that on purpose. That's why I put this on crooked. No, not really. All right, it's time for our sentiments. Thinking of you today, which is going to be hidden behind the gate. And I always use a reference point. It's kind of covering up these top orange flowers. Okay, thinking of you today. And then we're going to put on the hello on the front of the gate. Like it's hanging there. Hello, thinking of you today. And then we're going to layer on our flowers. So we have several, there, and see we can, oh, I should have put that a little different. Put that right over the edge of the gate there. Makes it really pretty. I'm just going to lay these on where they recommend them. Yep. That looks good. We have our pretty daisy. So we're going to layer right there. And this pretty, I don't know what it is. I am not the plant person in the family. If it's not a rose or a tulip, I probably don't know what it's called. So if you know what this is, feel free to put it in the comments so we'll all know. We have another, I think this is a hydrangea. Is that all our flowers? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I believe that's all our flowers. And there's our card. Thinking of you today. And then of course you open it up and you can write your sentiment. And there we have it. It also goes in one of these beautiful envelopes. So if you have stuck with me, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this demo of these beautiful cards. Again, this is the, I'll make sure I call it the right thing. This is the Welcoming Garden Kit. And it makes 9 cards, 3 of each of these beautiful floral cards. And I would lay the other one. Oh, there it is. And they're just so pretty. So, so very pretty. So have a wonderful rest of your day. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments or contact me. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks.